Hello my friends. A few days ago, Bungie released the lore page for the exotic ship the Naker, and it made my week. I was that happy. I was jubilant. I was elated. I was overcome with the giggles. It was a fun time. The reason why is very simple. This lore shows that not only is the Winnower real, but indeed the character who spoke to us in Unveiling, and it shows that they are going to be a part of the future, whatever that may look like. Also, this lore was very well written, and it's full of references and implications, so in this video, I am going to tear this lore apart, and I'm going to go as deeply into it as I possibly can for you. And whether or not you agree with my interpretations, I hope you can recognize that it's all just fun. But with that being said, let's begin. To begin, I want to start off by saying that I'm going to assume that you've read the lore. I'm assuming that if you are watching this video right now, thank you for that by the way, that you're somebody who is already invested in the story and world of Destiny and you're trying to figure things out just like me. So I'm going to treat this more like a conversation between me and you, and I'm going to assume that you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to be reading out the whole thing, although I might read and break down a line or two here or there. So first of all, let's look at the second paragraph, where the character who is speaking to us asks if we've missed it. And this paragraph does two things. First of all, it makes it clear that this is a character who has spoken to us before. And it's also a character who very much values the ability to speak with us. I would certainly have missed you is straightforward about that. The second purpose of this line, in my opinion, is a dig at the whole argument surrounding Unveiling. You know what I'm on about. Did the witness write Unveiling? If not, who did? Is the Winnower an actual character or just a metaphor? All this arguing and debating, you have to wonder what was required to put an end to it. In this expansion, the witness claimed to be the first knife and not the Winnower. But that didn't stop the arguing. The main point of discussion that I have seen is even if the Winnower is real, or if the witness is the first knife, the witness is still the character who wrote Unveiling. In my opinion, I think in the end there is no better way to end this than by simply having the same character from Unveiling speak to us again after the witness has died. And not only is that what I think is going on right here, but I think that this paragraph, and especially the next one, is a playful dig at this whole situation. Speaking of the next paragraph, have no fear, I'm not so easy to be rid of. With what I just said in mind, I find this to be very funny and I don't think I need to explain it. The character mentions showing us its beloved and states that it's not its sedimentary necrolite, as we've already seen that. This, of course, is the witness. Sedimentary implies many beings joined together to form a new entity, and that was the witness. Necrolite is a bit of a weird one. I kept getting pointed towards the word necronite, which means either obsolete or a mineral that gives off a foul odor when struck. Either way, the purpose of this paragraph is to show that while the witness was a product, I nearly said is, but the witness is in the past tense now. While the witness was a product of the Winnower, or at least a character associated with them, they were not that special. The Winnower does not care at all that the witness is dead, and I interpret the "you've seen that" line as a "yeah, you know about the witness, you've killed it, been there, done that." So what is beloved to this character? And this is where the lore gets tricky, and I see a lot of people potentially blanking or misinterpreting the lore. I certainly had to reread this section a few times. I'm going to read the following, and I need you to pay close attention. Close your 5 tabs, look back from your second monitor. I see you. It's big brain time. I speak of that dear and distant expanse of the universe, miraculous in its fullness and its emptiness all at once. Is the Winnower saying that the universe is its beloved? No, it actually isn't. What it values is not the universe itself, but the rule that governs it. If you understand Unveiling, if you read the Shadowkeep Collector's Edition lore, or if you watched mine or Bife's video, you will understand that the Winnower never wanted the universes to be made at all. As far as it's concerned, this whole world is one big mistake. What it does value is the rule of natural selection, of mortality, of death. From people to galaxies, everything will eventually die or decay. This rule, this inevitable law, is the Winnower's argument. The argument that despite the gardener meddling with the game and creating an abomination of a universe, the rules she hated so much have still remained, and that despite her meddling within it, the universe will choose the Winnower's way, because that is the natural way. And that, in my opinion, is the deeper truth of this line. When the Winnower asks if we're surprised to hear this, there are two meanings behind that. We, or some of us, might be surprised that the Winnower isn't this big meanie who wants to kill everyone, and some might be surprised that the Winnower values anything in the universe at all. The next line is so crucial for what I'm telling you. Yes, I never much cared for the change of rules, but here we are, and there's no use in crying over spilled radiolaria. Besides, at the heart of it all, there was a gift to me. This is the Winnower referencing the original Flower game, and how he was against the rules being changed. This is an admission that he is against the chaos of this universe, and this is the Winnower shrugging his proverbial shoulders and saying, "It is what it is." The Winnower says that it received a gift. But giving is for the sky, isn't it? What the gift was to talk to not just us, but a billion like us. When the gardener changed the rules, and the Destiny universe was created, she upset the Winnower quite a bit. But the Winnower saw the silver lining in it all. By creating all of this life, she gave the Winnower the path to winning the argument. I am making this offer over and over again, in every tiniest cell and the vastest of civilizations. Let me in. Take what you need. Be at ease. You have no say in the degradation of your telemeries, but in all the interim, the whole world is your sweet silicate shellfish. I've already mentioned this, but the natural way of the universe is the Winnower's way, the way of the original game in many ways. The gardener hated the fact that the original Flower game ended the same way every single time. She thought it was rigged, unfair, boring. So she wanted to change it. But this universe was not just an accident, but made partially by her own hand. If this universe follows the Winnower's logic, and by extension the logic of the original game, she has no counter, and she did have no counter until the Guardians were made. The Winnower is the defector, the destroyer, the one who takes. You exist because you have been more suited to it than all the others. Steal what you require from another rather than spend the hours to build it yourself. This line is directly connected to the Cambrian explosion chapter of Unveiling, how the first predator of our world was made, when one day, in the primordial ooze, one little blob realized that it could save a lot of effort by eating those around it to take the food from them. It chose the easy way. When life is tempted to take instead of give, it is unwittingly making a choice between the Winnower's logic or the gardener's. When the Witness's race, the first chosen of the gardener, believed that a universe full of meaningless life required winnowing, they chose the Winnower's logic. When Oryx killed Akka and took the knowledge from it, he chose the Winnower's logic. When the warlords used their power to rule over humanity with a cruel and iron fist, they chose the Winnower's logic. You get the idea. The Winnower isn't directly speaking to all these people, but they are all tempted to choose it whether they realize it or not. And this final argument of those with free will choosing the sword was only made possible by the gardener. Silver linings, eh? I know I'm going very deep into this, but I hope you understand what I'm getting at. The Winnower does not love the universe, but the rule that governs it, and as much as he didn't want the universe to exist, he is more than happy to take advantage of the opportunities it provides. Break foolish rules. Why would you love regulation? It serves you to cross lines, and if others needed rules to protect them, then they were not after all worthy of that existence. I actually see this as a playful dig at us, the Guardians, since we were made by the Gardener, and she hated the rules and regulations of the original game. The Gardener and Traveler are the definition of a rule breaker, and so not only does the Witness want us to break the rules of civilization and peaceful coexistence, but teases us that breaking the rules should come naturally to us. Just a fun side note that I thought you'd appreciate. Caricatures of villainy are out of style, I hear. Yes, I am no cackling mastermind. I am serious when I say this. This is not just another dig at the community in my opinion, but this also confirms something that I've been wondering about. First of all, I have seen a lot of people on, say, Reddit or Discord talk about how they're bored of these big scary villains and that they didn't want another one to replace the Witness. I think you can see how that ties into this line. Also, the caricatures are going out of style in World because we're literally killing them all. Second, this stereotype does not fit the Winnower at all. He's a chill dude. We saw this with Oryx and the Books of Sorrow, and we saw it with Unveiling, and here too. But we also saw it in the lore of Graviton Forfeit, and it's very short, so I will read it very quickly. Just sit down and think about what you're doing. A big white ball rebuilt you from nothing, guided your civilization, transformed you. Didn't tell you why, did it? Doubt it mentioned the omnipotent space anathema that's coming to kill you and your dog and your whole soccer club either. But what's a little xenocide between friends? Maybe you don't care. A gun never stops and wonders if things are more complicated. It just shoots. It's also possible that I'm just trying to get inside your head. You're a hero with a cape, and a gun, and a bike. You're gonna live forever. Who's got time for doubt? Fight the darkness, yeah! You know what I'd call dark? In the sense of grim? In the sense of cosmically upsetting? A universe full of weaponized puppets enacting a genocidal war against the servants of a rival god. Is this making you uncomfortable? I'm sorry, I'll be more evil. Bull. Does that not sound exactly like the Winnower in this new lore? I find that to be very interesting. But yeah, I don't see the Winnower necessarily as a villain, but make no mistake. The goal that we are working towards is against his. We will become enemies, whether we want it or not. It's just inevitable. I will be blunt here. There is no universe where we finish our journey and the Gardener and Winnower become buddies again. The Winnower has to go. Either he goes, or we do. It's that simple. The line about our race surviving by killing animals and cutting wood for fire is to show that whether we wanted it or not, we have been living by the Winnower's logic, and if our ancestors hadn't, we wouldn't be here today. It's a valid point, and I think we should all be aware of that. And then there's the final paragraph. This great, beloved cosmos, always decaying, always finding that same old lovely pattern, despite every candle flame burning amid the flowers. A billion electrons taking the path of least resistance. In darkness or in light, someone is always making my choice. Be seeing you. This paragraph makes it beyond clear that the Winnower is the character in this lore. The logic that's been talked about is very clearly the sword logic, and the character is claiming that it belongs to them. What's more is that it's letting us know that the Witness being defeated means nothing. As long as this universe has free will, there will always be those who choose the path of least resistance. The gardener can't be everywhere at once, we can't be everywhere at once, and the winnower can sit back, relax, and watch as the rule breakers struggle against the inevitable. It always wins. And finally, be seeing you. This one line implies that this is not the last time we'll be hearing from the character, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. And yeah, that is the breakdown of this lore. What are my takeaway thoughts from it? I will be as honest and as blunt with you as I can be. The argument is over. The Winnower is real, and I truly believe this lore proves the Winnower gave us Unveiling. It's the same character from Unveiling, speaks the exact same way, makes references to that same lore book, and very clearly this is a god tier character in terms of the power levels and all of that. Now when I made my Unveiling video, I put so much information in it for one reason. My position on Unveiling and the Winnower belonged at the time to the minority. I know this not just because I saw the discussions at the time, but there was a time when my opinions were laughed at or mocked. I'm not saying that to be bitter, I'm saying this because I understood that since I was in the minority, the burden of proof was on me. And that is why I went overkill on that video. The tables have now turned. Every piece of evidence in the lore that I have seen, it does point to this position, and this one page seals the deal. If you are somebody who disagrees with me, and you believe that this wasn't the Winnower, or that the witness wrote Unveiling, that is perfectly fine. But you should know that the burden of proof is now on you. That is all I'll say on that. The final thing I will say is this. I was initially disappointed that there was no mention of the Winnower's value in us. That was one of my favorite parts of Unveiling. The Winnower saying that we are majestic, and full of the only thing that matters at all. I have said many times that we, humanity, not just the Guardians, but humanity, has an umbral center, and that this is from the Winnower, which is why the Winnower refers to both itself and us as majestic. At first, I saw nothing to do with this, and I was disappointed. But then it clicked for me. The ship's name, Knocker. What does the word actually mean? It's the part of a mollusk that creates the pearl within it. It's often referred to as the mother of pearls. So you get the mollusk, and they will have a pearl inside of them, and the knocker is the part of the mollusk that is responsible for creating the pearls. Okay, cool. And what is the description of the ship? Even the most perfect of pearls has grit at its center. We are the pearls. The grit is our umbral center, and it comes from our maker, or rather co-maker, not the gardener, but the Winnower. Even Zavala, the bastion of righteousness, had that grit. I'm very excited for the future. I am beyond happy with this lore. It is on the same level of writing as the Books of Sorrow and Unveiling, and I know Seth Dickinson didn't work on Final Shape because he told me. So I want to know who wrote this page, because they deserve so much praise. If you find out who wrote it, please let me know, because I want to shout them out and sing their praises. But what did you think? Are you happy with this lore? What are your takeaways from it? Did you notice something that I may have missed? Let me know. Thank you everyone who has been a part of this journey, and thank you all for giving me your time. And of course, thank you Detective Studios, Ultra Risen, That Is Not Jay, Cursed Cat, Concept Center, and all of my members for your support. It seems like every time I make a new video, the list gets longer. Oh, man. But yeah, that's everything from me. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.